just go ahead and address your question. The person making a claim, a claim about, say, the existence of something, like, I was kidnapped by a UFO. Okay, if somebody comes to you and he makes that claim, well, it's his job to prove to you that he was kidnapped by a UFO. It's not your job to prove to him that he wasn't. Okay, if Christians really believe that their God exists and that their God is real and that we should believe in their God, then it's up to them to come up with the evidence that will, compel us to believe. And we aren't getting that evidence.
Okay, but Christians, I believe Christians have, and then I show evidence, and then it seems like
okay, well,
y'all don't want to accept it because it says in the Bible that it's going to be more wars, and it is today.
Wow!
Yeah, there's going to be another war in the history of mankind.
Wow! So the Bible says
it does say it's going to be more wars, and this is dating back thousands years ago.
You know what I predict, Clifton? I predict that 2,000 years from now, people are going to eat lunch.
So what you saying?
Gee whiz, more wars? Who'd have thunk it? Looks like wars are part of the fabric of human history.
But if you're atheist, you might as well go kill somebody and still.
Why do you say that? Okay.
Because
why?
When man writes the laws, these laws are coming from God.
If you need a God to tell you what laws are, it seems to me that you lack a basic understanding of human behavior and why things are good or bad.
This is in the Bible.
Yeah.
God said, go out and kill all the women, all the children, all the men. Keep the virgins for yourself.
Damn, it's a word. When you read something, you got to interpret it of what God's talking about.
I see. Oh, yes. I think the word you're looking for is
you just can't read the Bible, and you got to learn. See, when we go to Bible study, Bible study to interpret it of what he's talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Interpreting means spin. That means if the Bible says something that you find embarrassing, you interpret it so it no longer means embarrassing.
You don't know what he's talking about, though. Interpret it. What God was talking about.
So I have to interpret this in such a way so that kidnapping 32,000 virgins is morally acceptable. I have to interpret this in such a way so that I accept rape. I have to interpret this in such a way so that it becomes okay to kill every male child. I have to interpret this in such a way so that it becomes okay to kill every woman who has had a child or has had sex. I have to interpret it so that those things become morally okay.
And you know what? You just read one verse. You know you got to read the whole thing, too.
There is some verse in there.
I found something. This comes right before. Apparently, the rest of the prey that the men of war had caught, 675,000 sheep, 12,000 beeves, I guess that's cattle, 1,000 asses.
Okay, so it needs the women to take care of the animals.
Maybe that's it, yeah.
At least it's getting better.
Yeah, well, again, unless, of course, they had other plans for the sheep and the cattle. But,
why are you an atheist?
Because there is not a shred of evidence in favor of the Judeo-Christian God, or indeed any other God. I think people should be free to believe whatever they like, to write whatever they like, to say whatever they like. But the problem is that religious people, I think especially in America and also in the Islamic world, are in the habit of getting it all their own way and are remarkably intolerant of atheists.
But why do you think they're so remarkably intolerant of atheists?
Well, I think there's a sort of historic misunderstanding of what atheism is. For some reason, people have been brought up to believe that atheists have two horns and a tail. I mean, neither I nor any other atheist that I know ever threatens violence. We never threaten to fly planes into skyscrapers. We never threaten suicide bombs. We're very gentle people. What's there to be frightened of in just an opinion? If you're an atheist, you know, you believe this is the only life you're going to get. It's a precious life. It's a beautiful life. It's something that we should live to the full, to the end of our days. Whereas if you're religious and you believe that there's another life somehow, that means you don't live this life to the full because you think you're going to get another one. That's an awfully negative way to live a life. Being an atheist frees you up to live this life properly, happily, and fully.
What if you're wrong?
Well, what if I'm wrong? I mean, anybody could be wrong. We could all be wrong about the flying spaghetti monster and the pink unicorn and the flying teapot. You happen to have been brought up, I would presume, in the Christian faith. You know what it's like not to believe in a particular faith because you're not a Muslim, you're not a Hindu. Why aren't you a Hindu? Because you happen to have been brought up in America, not in India. If you'd been brought up in India, you'd be a Hindu. If you were brought up in Denmark in the time of the Vikings, you'd be believing in Wotan and Thor. If you were brought up in classical Greece, you'd be believing in Zeus. If you were brought up in Central Africa, you'd be believing in the great Juju up the mountain. I mean, there's no particular reason to pick on the Judeo-Christian God in which, by the sheerest accident, you happen to have been brought up, and ask me the question, what if I'm wrong? What if you're wrong about the great Juju at the bottom of the sea?
And if I'm a monkey, then I might as well act like a monkey, huh? What on earth are you doing? Don't ask me, I'm a fucking monkey! Ah!
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm a monkey. Give this monkey what you want. Oh, Miss Garrison. Yeah, pound my monkey hole, Richard. Yeah, I'm a monkey, all right.
Welcome back. We're talking about discrimination against atheists and how the fear of becoming outcasts keeps many atheists underground. Let's turn to our Out in the Open panel again. Atheist Ellen Johnson is here with us, the Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson, and radio talk show host Rachel Maddow. So let me turn to you first of all, Ellen. Do atheists bring this on themselves by going to the Supreme Court with campaigns like trying to take the words "under God" out of the pledge, trying to take the words "in God we trust" off of the currency? You're 1 to 3% of the population. Why are you so noisy?
By trying to uphold the Constitution of the United States. I think that's being a good citizen. I think that we should be applauded for it. However, most atheists are in the closet, unfortunately. We haven't seen that. This is just the tip of the iceberg. But what the problem really is and what it stems from, the religious are getting very angry and they're fighting back. And when they see an atheist who tries to uphold the Constitution and challenge when they break the law, then there are all kinds of problems.
Atheists are hypocrites. What they're trying to do is impose their godless lifestyle upon Americans, and especially upon Christians, with the radical homosexual movement. They decided to come out of the closet, and what they did was they imposed their lifestyle upon Americans. Now they have redefined
She
the
was
family
with you for a second, and now you've lost it. Does the Constitution, Rachel, not only give you freedom of religion, but freedom from religion?
The Constitution gives you freedom from religion. It creates a government that is explicitly non-religious.
So it should be equal rights, yes?
You can say that America is a Christian nation in the sense that America is a Christian majority nation, you're right, but we have a secular government. And the way we protect religion in this country and the way we have become such a religious country is by protecting religion, by keeping it utterly separate from the public sphere and from government. And so there's...
That's not the American way, though.
Yes, it is.
We have Christianity in the public school first.
We're running out of time, so make it quick.
There's not equality among religions under the American government. There is freedom from religion. Freedom from religion is what we have.
Let me ask this question. There is a common perception among Christians, or at least a common case that Christians sometimes make, that atheists, because they do not believe in God, are morally compromised. Are you morally compromised?
Yes. That's just bigotry. And in order to make religious people feel better, they have to say lies.
Where do you get your morals from? Christians get their morals from God, from the Bible, from God. Where do you get yours from?
Where do you get them from? The idea that we don't have ethics is not borne out. No one sees that. We're not the ones that are, abusing children.
Got to call a timeout here, folks.
Clifton, you there?
So y'all said that that ain't no evidence, but it's been documents in thousands of years that it is a God. But I haven't seen no documents.
You mean people wrote things down on paper that says there is a God, and that's your evidence?
Well, if you read the Bible, and that's just
I read Alice in Wonderland too.
Ain't just the Bible though. Talk about God. You got the Torah.
Yeah.
You got the Quran.
The Torah is actually the origin of the Bible.
Christianity is not the only religion talking about it's a God though.
Just because a lot of people believe this stuff doesn't make it true. A lot of people believe the Earth was flat at one time. Didn't make it true.
So, do y'all convince people to join y'all and say there's no God at all?
When I'm on the show and debating with somebody or arguing with Christian or whatever, I don't expect to convert them. It hasn't happened on the show before, at least not that I know of, and I doubt it will. That's not the point of it.
Okay.
Right. But making people think about things is really good.
God is an infinite God who is working in ways we don't always understand.
You don't think that's a cop-out?
He is God. Are you God?
No.
What my faith requires is if I were sitting here and my wife were sitting there and my 2 kids were sitting there, and somebody came in with a machine gun and pointed it at my daughter and said to my daughter, say Jesus doesn't exist. If she turned to me and said, what do? I'd say, What have I taught?